Hey Brennan, how are you, man?
Hey Dusty, how are you?
Not bad, not bad. Are you in Sydney at the moment?
No, I'm back in Melbourne now. Back in Melbourne.
Did you have your flight this morning?
No, we literally went up and back in the same day. So we got the first flight to Sydney from Melbourne on Sunday morning, and then got the last flight of last on the Sunday night. So yeah,
Wow.
It's been good. Ooh.
And how am I? Sorry?
Yeah, how you going?
Oh, not too bad, not too bad. Had a decent weekend now, just chilling. Excited for this interview, just been doing some emailing and all that. But yeah, glad to have you on.
You got a Not Fest and stuff?
No. I don't like those like bands, man. I was like expecting like Slayer or Judas Priest or someone, but none of those bands went.
Yeah, no, it wasn't the lineup for me either, really. Like, I didn't go.
Nah, I'm not into Korn or anything like that. That's just not me.
Yeah,
I'm into
fair enough.
hair metal, you know.
I like the shirt. I like the Sisters Doll swagger behind. That's cool.
Oh yeah, you know, you gotta promote it. It's an interview. Gotta show the fans, man. But so yeah, you played in Sydney right last night.
Yeah, played in Sydney. Yeah, during the day actually. So we got up to Sydney in the morning. We went to this little boat. It was actually out on like the harbour, like in this boat sort of set up, which was cool. So we got there and we pretty much just set up, did the gig, and then we literally have to rush off the boat to get to the airport to try and make the last flight. So we got home, midnight last night.
Wow.
So yeah, it was like we were up at 3, back by midnight. So it was it was full on, but it was good.
That's the rock and roll lifestyle, man. That's what you have to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, you got a busy month, don't you? Because you've got Monsters of Rock cruises.
Yeah.
This month.
Yep. Yeah, busy month. We leave on Friday. We head over. And then we got a couple of days in Florida before the cruise. Then we head on the cruise, which is about 5 days on the cruise, and then we're heading up to Boca, which is another suburb in the Florida area, to do a show, which is exciting. We got like a little headline show at this venue, which is called Crazy Uncle Mike's, which is going to be fun. And then then we head to LA because obviously we've got to head back home. We've got a couple of meetings in LA with some people, and then we've got a couple of shows. We're doing one at the Viper Room, and then another.
So that's sick. That's actually really sick.
At a Wood Bar in LA, which is going to be fun.
So no whiskey this time.
No whiskey this time. There was no dates. The dates, the weekend we wanted or we needed to try and get in there or get on a show with, it was they've got some private functions, so there's actually no shows on the weekend. Sunday night, we tried to get the Sunday night, we couldn't make it happen, and so we got the Viper Room instead.
Unfortunate. Hey, Viper Room should be good, and then Monsters of Rock cruise will be sick, man.
Yeah,
did you play last year?
On Monsters of Rock?
Yeah.
This is our first time, so we're pumped because it's a festival. Like, it's a big festival at sea. I think there's like 40 bands or something, and it's something that obviously it's a big dream of our level sort of to get on these bills. So we're honoured because obviously we're sharing the stage with like Extreme and some of the bands we've already shared the stage with here at like Glamfest, as you would have seen back. So that was we're excited to sort of be able to see them guys again, and then make new contacts and new friends, and hopefully make it a sort of reoccurring thing.
Yeah, well, it's a good way to get your music out there to like a different country, and then you're going to England in like May, correct?
Yeah, going to the UK for the first time, which is super exciting. Really excited for that. We're going to with another American band in Valentina for a few dates, and then we're doing some of our own shows with some other bands over as well. And we're finishing up at the Call of the Wild Festival, which is exciting because we've been to the UK and we've always had people saying you've got to get to Europe, you've got to get to the UK. So it's our first time. So we're doing like I think it's 14 shows in like 8 days or something like that. So it's going to be ridiculous, but we're excited, we're pumped, and we're going to do a lot of driving, but it's going to be fun. Yeah.
Definitely a busy few months ahead for you, and then you've got like some Melbourne shows. So you put 2 dates at Musicland.
Yes. Yeah, that's going to be fun. Back from America, and then do the first shot Musicland sold out, which is exciting. So we've added another show, which is like a Sunday afternoon show. So yeah, that should be fun too. So we're gonna do 2 shows at Musicland, and then we take off to the UK. And then when we get back from that, we're gonna try and squeeze in some other Australian dates if we can. Go and rock the boat in October again. So we're either going to try and do some extra dates sort of around the October time in Australia, or we'll save it, for later. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I got some questions from a lot of people saying, are they going to tour different states? Ask them. So there we go. They're going to try.
Yeah.
So you've just released a new album, Scars.
Yep.
8 years since that one, if I'm correct, the second one?
That came out in 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23, 24, 5. Yeah, 8 years.
Yeah, 8 years. So how do you compare your new album to the other two? What's different? What's changed?
I think just the growth in the band is the main thing. Like we definitely have grown as a band with our songwriting, lyrics, all sorts of things. Like with the hard thing is we started as a young band, like we're quite young at the time. So obviously the only way you can go is sort of evolve and get better. We're very proud of this one, like the way it came together. We sort of like, not just myself as a songwriter, but like Austin and Bryce as well, like because we were the main 3 who wrote all of this album essentially. Sage has sort of stepped now like as the new member, but this Scars album was generally me, Bryce, knuckling down during COVID times in our studio, and we were rehashing old songs, wrote some new, sort of really just worked on every aspect of the song. So definitely growth and probably just where we want to be, I guess.
What were your expectations when you released that album? Like, what was your personal goals and the band's goals? Have you reached some of them? Because you've got number 11 on the ARIA charts, which is very impressive. Congrats.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah, obviously all them accolades are amazing. You don't go into it hoping for, like, wishing for that. Like, obviously every band wants them sort of accolades, which is cool. But I think the main thing, we were just really keen to get some new music out to the world, because obviously it had been 8 years. It wasn't meant to be that long. Obviously COVID knocked off 2 of them years. So it was meant to be, the plan was to release it sort of in 2020, sort of like 2019, 2020. But then obviously things pushed out. And with this time to write, I'd say one thing COVID did give us was time to in the studio to be able to really work it. And when I'm in studio, that was like our home studio where we demoed all the songs ourselves. And and then we just kept writing and writing. So it probably made for a stronger album, I guess, because we really pushed us, as opposed to just going, we've 12 songs, let's put it out, sort of thing. So it was good. We worked hard, and it was a lot of the songs deep within, which is something we've done a little bit on albums, but this goes a deeper side, I guess.
Well, yeah, man, I think the reaction from the album has been great. I saw some comments and some stuff online. But how is it at the show? How does the crowd react? Like, is it bigger with this song or that song? Like, is the energy there?
Yeah, well, obviously we released a few singles off this album before we released it. So obviously them songs are a bit more known to people. So, songs like Prisoner, Kiss Me, Change, and United's a crowd favorite, which is great. So we've only played once at the listening, like the launch. We did back in January, and then on this Sydney boat cruise we just did. So the ones that sort of were surprising, like Take You Away has been a crowd favorite, like especially on Spotify. Like that one sort of like climbed a lot quicker than the others, and Baby Doll and like Climbing Out of Hell is another one that people seem to like. So they've all done pretty well so far. Like even You Can't Bring Me Down is like a bit more of a bluesy fast number, so that one's a good sort of one that'll probably stay in the set forever. So we're it's good to see what the crowd response has been like to stuff, and so far it's been great. Like we've had people say, like even just in Sydney the other night, coming up saying, "Oh, it's the best album you've ever done. There's not a bad song on it. There's no fillers." And multiple people me and said that, which is quite humbling, because someone said, it doesn't matter what band it is. Generally, there's a filler or a couple of songs that go, "Oh yeah, they didn't really do it for me on the album." But they were like, "Nah, the album is like our favorite
Proper.
from the start to finish with no." Oh, that's
Mm.
nice of you to say. Like, that's really cool. So to hear comments like that, that sort of means more than getting a, you know, a number in an aria or whatever we got. So
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah. I guess, yeah, I would agree with you that like people, like your fans, like what they say means more to you, I guess. And like if they like it, and that's great, man. I'm glad that everyone likes it. I certainly like it. I listened to it on Spotify. I loved Baby Doll and it was United. I really liked that song, especially live. I think I heard that one live. That was top notch.
Oh, I think. Yeah.
You're good, man.
Albums, the next album is probably going to have to be take a bit more of a heavier route because that's what people seem to like, the heavier stuff. Whereas me, personally, I probably prefer the more, ballad, but like the more melancholy, melodic sort of stuff.
Mm.
But yeah, we'll see. It's like there's a song for everyone on the album, which is good. Yeah.
Mm. Well, so when you guys write songs, do you all come together, or is it just individually and like stories about what happened to you guys in the past, or other stories? Like, how do you come up with like these songs together or by yourself?
Yeah, it kind of depends. Like most of the time, like I wrote all the lyrics for these songs for this. Well, I'm generally most of the Sisters Dolls songs I've sort of done the lyric side of things. But the boys all together, we all sort of work together. What we'll do is one of us will come up with an idea, like for example, like Climbing Out of Hell as an example. Like Austin had that riff for a while, and then yeah, me and him sit together and we sort of piece out and structure a song out together. Same with Take one of us that he brought in, and then I work on the chorus with him, or we work together. So it's generally we'll bring an idea in and yeah, we'll work on it. But then like a song like Change, for example, I wrote that all by myself on a little crappy acoustic guitar. One day it just sort of flowed. But then Austin wrote this incredible guitar solo, and then Bryce came up with these cool harmonies. And so even though one of us will bring it in and might have written majority of the song, we all work on it together, which sort of makes the song better in the end.
Yeah.
So yeah, we try to work on it together as much as we can. But yeah, like obviously all the drum parts and stuff are written by Bryce. Obviously all the solos, the bass parts, Sage is starting to get a little bit more involved now. So it's definitely a group collective, even though one of us might have run the song to us in the first place. Yeah.
Well, you just mentioned Sage. So was the album hold it off because you wanted Sage to learn all the bass bits, or was it just already planned you were gonna put the album out and Sage can just learn on the way? Because it was last year where he played his first show and he only played like 5 or 6, I believe.
Yes.
But, yeah.
Another. Sorry, my dogs are being annoying in the background here. Yeah, yeah, that was another reason why the album was sort of delayed a little bit. At first, obviously, Prisoner, Change, Kiss Me, those 3 songs were sort of written, and we did the film clips for those, like with just the 3 of us. So at that point, it was just the 3 of us, me, Bryce, and Austin. Still, like we'd been doing it for so long, and then we always wanted to bring a bass player in, and obviously we didn't just want to grab anyone. We sort of wanted to have a our brother join, and that was the plan. But he just wasn't really ready at the time, so we dragged it out a little bit, and I said to the boys, if we don't introduce Sage now while we're doing a new album, it sort of feels like a new beginning of the band. We're never going to introduce him, and then we just will be known for the band without a bass player. You know what I mean? So kind of just felt right, and so yeah, we gave Sage a timeline and said, we want you to be in the band. We want to unveil you at the Don't Give Up on Us launch that we did, and but yeah, it was sort of strategically placed that way to sort of make it happen, and so that's why the album did get delayed a little bit as well, because obviously we did that launch show, I think it was at the Northcote for the Don't Give Up on Us, where Sage got introduced, and we he played a couple of songs, probably 6 songs, but then we had like a 6 months before the launch show to really knuckle down and make the show happen. So Sage really did an incredible job to sort of get up to speed, and we introduced him, and it just feels like the right time. And now it feels weird as a 3-piece because we're a 4-piece now. At first it was like weird having another member, but now I don't see it any other way. So we're glad we got to bring Sage in. Great.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad you bring Sage in. I just want to quickly mention, for people who don't know, this band is four brothers, and you know, Brennan's the lead singer and co-guitarist, Austin, guitarist, Bryce, drummer, and Sage, the bassist. But yeah, that's sick, man. Being all brothers together and playing, like, is it hard, you know, or is it quite easy? Because I know like some like brothers that are in bands, they just get fed up with each other, they clash. But is it easy for you guys?
Yeah, it is. We pretty much know where our limits are, like with each other. Like even on the weekend, there was a moment where the sound check wasn't working that well, and Austin had a moment, and we're just like, oh, let him calm down a bit before we, you know. So just little things like that. We sort of know where boundaries are and where, you know, our threshold is of where we're annoying each other or whatever. But I think that's why we've stayed together so long, is because we are brothers, because we're very, very honest with each other. There's no egos in the band. You know, we let each other, you know, say our piece, what we want to do and whatnot. So, you know, we're pretty privileged that way, that we don't really have any, you know, hate towards each other, or we fight or anything like that. You know, we all have our moments, but I think the way we were raised, like our parents raised us really well. So we sort of respect each other and really just look after each other in all aspects, not just in the band, but in life as well. You know, we're sort of like mates, best mates, even though we are brothers.
Yeah. That's awesome, yeah. And like, you're always constantly with each other. Like I was just saying before, the tours, you're going to be with each other for days, car rides. Like, I'm surprised, like, you know, if I had a brother, I'd probably get fed up with him after like the first three. Like, oh, this guy, I have to be with him for the whole day. Oh,
it's funny,
man. But yeah, that's sick.
Sometimes we'll go on road trips, like drive, gig or in a plane or whatever, and we won't even speak to each other. Not because we don't want to, it's just because, you know, there's no awkward silence because we're brothers, you know what I mean? But then on the way, a bit tired, a bit delusional, you know, we'll start laughing and carrying on and talking about this and that, and like talking about the show or whatever. So yeah, there's that good up and down dynamic with us, so it's good.
Yeah. Well, when you just mentioned like get tired and all that, like, because you guys got a big tour, so is it important that you guys lift each other's spirits if one's feeling tired, like, oh, like this show, I'm feeling really draggy and tired, like, is it important that you guys bring each other up and are close?
Yeah, definitely. Like, obviously, you can kind of feel it. I don't know if it's a brother thing, but you feel like the energy. You're like, sometimes you're like, oh, like Austin might be a bit off tonight, or Bryce tired or a bit off. So I think the other three will pick up the slack. You know what I mean? Like, even the album launch show, myself personally, I was pretty burnt out because I did a lot of the planning and a lot of the scene stuff. So by the time it was stage time, like I was cramping up a bit, like I was tired. I got through it, like, and I was, you know, played the show fine, but in my head, I'm like, oh, it wasn't my best performance, you know, personally. But Bryce, Austin, and Sage, you know, they all lifted me up and brought, yeah. So it's true what you said, you know, like even though we might have our nights, yeah, the three of us sort of all push each other when we need to, yeah.
Good. That's good. So obviously that helps you push. But what's like, how do you, if they're not around, how do you motivate yourself to keep going, keep pushing? Like, what do you do to, like, all right, I'm gonna get through this. I'm gonna write this. I'm gonna do this. Like, you know, you've been playing music all your life. How do you just keep going? Obviously the brothers help, but without them, like personally, how does it help?
Yeah, I guess, like someone asked the other day, oh, you've been going a long time, like what keeps you motivated? Literally just having a goal each year. Like obviously last year, I mean, the goal for the last couple of years is obviously to release the album. And then once that's out, it's like, all right, so where do we go from here? We had the Monsters of Rock cruise opportunity. So I was like, well, we've got to keep going until that kind of motivates you to go, all right, we've got to do that. And then obviously then after that, it's like the Music Land shows. And then it'll go to like, oh, we've got our first aid tour. So that's going to like keep you going for that next period of time. And then hopefully another opportunity will lead to that. So it's kind of just the opportunities that we've sort of were lucky to get, which has just been like, we've got we you know, we've got a small label behind this, but most of it's just all done by, I just hustle behind in the background, shows, just reaching out, constant like sending emails and trying to grab an opportunity, because, you know, you get like there's way more no's than yes, but if you don't put yourself out there to try and get those opportunities, or the bigger agencies, you know, to try and get those bigger shows, it is tough. So, you know, you know, a lot of behind the scenes work goes, but it's all our own doing. Like Bryce does all our social stuff. I sort of handle the management and behind the scenes stuff, and then Austin focuses on the music, and you know, Sage does his thing. He's sort of new to the band, so he's still finding his place of what he
Yeah.
can do. But we all in different aspects, which helps motivate us. I think if it was left to one person, like if I was doing social media and management stuff, and then trying to play, you know, you get a bit burnt out, and then you do, you know, start, and you know, so I think having our own roles within the band, like behind the scenes that people don't really see, you know, does help, you know, so, and that's kind of what's kept us going, because, you know, and you can, you know, tell the, you know, if you're, you know, if they're not pulling their weight, well, hey, like, come on, got to late now, and you know, and everyone knows.
Yeah.
So
You
that's
guys have like an equal
like,
share of
yeah,
everything.
yeah, share
Yeah.
things out, life easier for everyone involved. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that would definitely make things easier. You just mentioned something. You guys have been, like I was saying, you guys have been together for like 15 years as a band.
Yep.
You look back on that now. What are some of the highlights of that? Like, you know, your albums, Monsters of Rock Cruise, or any festivals? Like, what are your main highlights of those 15 years?
There's been so many, like we've had so many like ups and downs, like as all bands have. Like, you know, you have a lot of lows, you have a lot of great times,
Yeah.
but the times, like obviously the Kiss Cruise was a big opportunity for us at the time. Like we were honoured to get on that lineup. Like we got voted in to be on that, so that was like,
Wow.
obviously we all grew up with Kiss, and you'd see them cruises, and like even the Monsters of Rock cruise, for example, see them cruising, you're like, oh, we'd love to be on that. How do you get on that? And then we got the Kiss cruise, which was amazing, and then, you know, then 2 years later we get the opportunity to be on the Monsters of Rock cruise as well. So it's just like sort of pinch yourself moments, you know, and you know, just releasing this last album has probably been one of the biggest highlights, because I think we're genuinely fully proud of this one. Like obviously we're proud of every album we've done, but
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know, we feel like there's a, you know, we've sort of stepped a little bit more as well in all aspects, profile,
Hmm.
and as well as like the music. So this, I don't know, this year's felt really exciting. The last year felt a lot more exciting, and I think a lot has to do with Sage joining the band. It kind of does feel a bit more complete now, and like we're all for one for all sort of thing all together now. As
Yeah.
yeah, we kind of feel like a new band, because it has been going a long time. Like 15 years is a long time to sort of
Very long
go
time.
going. And yeah, there was times where me, Austin, and Bryce were stale. You know, like Austin at one point, like we had an opportunity to go to America, and he was like sat down with us and was like, "I'm not really enjoying it anymore. I'm kind of a bit like over it." And then 2 years prior, 18, I was a bit the same. I was like, "I'm not really digging it, a bit over it." Like, it just felt like we weren't getting anywhere. And Bryce has had his fair share of moments. You know, like he's got a little son now, and
Yeah.
you know, so he's dramatically. So we've all had moments where, you know, there's been low points, but I think we've always seen the common goal of like, we'd love to, you know, succeed. And, you know, we moved states to try and make the band happen, you know. So there's a lot of like, not pressure, because we love it, like we do love it, but there's also an end goal of like, we don't know what the goal is, you know.
Yeah.
We want,
Okay.
goal would be to be at a square garden or something like that. That's the dream. But if we don't get there, we just love to be doing this as our, you know, sole income would be the main goal. And yeah, and we feel like they've been exciting, and kind of the opportunities have sort of risen a little bit more. So yeah, and we've got a good work ethic, so we'll just keep pushing until we, yeah, keep ticking off things off the bucket list, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're playing with many, many big names as the Monsters Rock Cruise. Probably some people that you idolize. I know with Ozzy, he loves Nuno Betancourt, and I actually saw on the album he used like a bit of Nuno's stuff, and especially in the first song, like the I forgot the name of it, but that first intro to come in,
Yeah.
I saw that Bryce with Tommy Lee. What about you, man?
Oh, in terms of my influences,
Yeah.
yeah, I was obviously influenced heavily Kiss in the early days. I loved Ace Frehley as a kid growing up, loved him.
Mm.
Then as I got older, you know, I sort of gravitated a little bit more, because I was a vocalist, or vocal side of things. Like Paul Stanley and Steven Tyler were my two, like, sort of like inspiration, and a bit of Sammy Hagar as well. They were my three
Yeah.
that I tried to model on. But in my early days, there were a band, I don't know if you know them, but they were a Melbourne band actually called the Galvatrons. Um,
No, I never heard that name. No.
you should look them up. They only did one album, and they were only last probably a couple of years.
What
But yeah, the lead
year was that? Sorry. Yeah.
Galvatrons, the Galvatrons.
What year?
2008 they came
Okay.
out, like, or 2008, and they sort of disbanded. The album dropped in 2009, and they had sort of disbanded by like 2010. They were really short. It was a short run, but I was obsessed with them. And like Johnny Galvatron, the lead singer, I really ripped him off a lot, like in terms of my stage presence and stuff. Like, yeah. So yeah, there's a bit of everything. I'd say Ace Frehley, Paul Stanley, and Johnny Galvatron were my three sort of influences, guitar and vocally, and then yeah, Stephen, I'm a huge fan of him, and Sammy Hagar. So yeah, that's sort of where my influences came in.
It's interesting because some of those people you said they also sing and play guitar. Like, how difficult is it to do that live, play guitar and sing?
Yeah, I remember my first time, I was shitting myself. Like I was like so nervous, sweating. Like this was like years ago, but I was a dancer for years. Like that's where I got my confidence on stage performing. Like I danced 10 years of my life. So yeah, I did like tap, jazz, acrobatics. So I sort of got my love for performing through that actually at first, and then obviously the band started. So I sort of had a bit of a confident stage presence as it was, but I remember I was worried about my voice. I was always scared for people to hear my voice. I was like, yeah, that was a real daunting experience for me. But once I got confident, sort of like working on my craft, that's when it sort of I feel all right. But I don't know, I feel comfortable on stage. A lot of people like get nervous. I really get nervous on stage. I kind of love having a crowd in front of me and commanding the stage. I kind of find it thrilling and exciting. Like, I still get nervous obviously, but I love that challenge of like trying to win a crowd over and stuff. It kind of excites me a bit. So yeah, I don't know, I love performing. That's probably why I still do the band. Like I love writing and recording music, but I really love being on stage and performing. I feel that's
I've been told it's like a different rush of adrenaline coming in after a few shows. I mean, after a few songs, like this rush of adrenaline. Don't care, you just go crazy.
Yeah.
And you guys do some some stunts, man, like that knife thing, and then goes on fire. All that, is that inspired by Kiss also? Like that sort of theatrics?
Show side of things definitely was like not because we're trying to rip them off or do anything like that. It was just we love that sort of stuff. Like we like putting, but the music was always first for us. Like we always have good music or good, weren't a good musical band in terms of not necessarily the music, but like a tight band. At much like extra stuff you put into the show, you've got to be able to back it up. So we always focused ourselves on the music was first, and then the stage show sort of came second. And it was something that over years, like it was not when we first started, like the first shows, we were sort of just standing at the mics, not really doing anything. It took a while to sort of build into ourselves and what we were on stage. So yeah, it took time, but I feel like we've got a good thing going on now that we sort of know our place on stage, what our each person does, and yeah.
Like when I see you guys like a tight knit band. Obviously, the brother thing helps, but man, 15 years is honestly incredible. Congratulations to you and your boys and your new album. Just want to say, fantastic, and keep going. I've personally told like some of my mates who live in America and all that off this page, like, oh yeah, give these boys a listen. And they're like, yeah, these guys are sick. They should come to that country. I'm like, well, they probably will sometime. But yeah, it's awesome here. You're doing all your tours, man. Good job.
Thanks so much, and thanks for having us on. And I love your page. You've built a great following on here for everyone, and I like the response you're getting and stuff. So yeah, it's a credit to you for keeping this page rocking, and especially for how young you are. You got a lot of great insight, and you know a lot about your history. You're not just a guy that just made a page. You actually delve deep and know a lot of the backstory stuff. So it's a credit to you too. So thanks for having us on.
Thank you, Brennan. I appreciate it. Before you go, where can everyone find your album and all your merch, man?
Yeah, so we got our website as pretty much the one-stop shop. So it's soulband.com. So that's got a web store on there, all our show dates, pretty much all the main news. doesn't get updated as frequently as sort of like Instagram and Facebook. So they're the main two that you probably see instant sort of updates like on a daily basis. But yeah, they're the main two sources. So sistersdollband.com is where you can get everything you need to know.
All right, well, thank you, man. I'll put all your band members and the band and the links and all that down there. Thank you so much for having you. We'll have to do this again and try and get the whole band. Yeah. We'll get there.
Yeah.
We will get there.
Yeah.
But thank you. Appreciate you coming on, man.
No, thanks so much for having me, Dustin. Have a good night. Yeah.
You too, man.
See you at the next show.
Ya. Pardon?
See you at the next show.
Yeah, I'll see you there, man. Have a good one.